What happens if you fire a gun in space? Generally, firing a gun in the oxygen-free space will cause the gunpowder in the bullet to not ignite, resulting in the gun not firing. Prepare a bullet with its own oxidizer for this. In space, firing a gun, you will see this scene. The moment you fire, you won't hear any sound, because sound can't travel in a vacuum. After the gunshot, smoke will form a sphere at the end of the gun barrel. As we all know, when firing a gun on Earth, the bullet is affected by air resistance and gravity, and it slows down and falls. A typical rifle bullet, after 500 meters, will have its speed. According to Newton's third law, when you fire a gun in space, you will receive the same thrust and fly in the opposite direction of the bullet. If at this moment you happen to be on a planetary orbit, then the bullet will circle around the planet due to gravitational pull and hit you in the back. Now we are testing the power with Ak-47 on the moon, where there is no air and lower gravity. Firing a gun without an atmosphere, the bullet will not fly into space because it cannot overcome the moon's first orbital speed. But due to the lack of gravity and weight, its range can reach up to 75 kilometers. Now let's try with a more powerful tank. At the moment of firing, the shell is just like a launched satellite, quickly reaching moon orbit, but it still cannot fly into space. Instead, it keeps rotating along the moon's orbit. Perhaps you think the idea of placing a tank on the moon is absurd, but in 1974, the Soviet Union indeed made a similar move. They launched a modified cannon into Earth's orbit and fired over 20 bullets into space. However, they were all pulled into the atmosphere by Earth's gravity and burned up completely. Besides that, the Soviet Union was also the first to equip astronauts with firearms, because in 1965, 2 astronauts during their return to Earth suffered a sudden system failure, resulting in a deviation from the planned location, landing in the forests of Siberia. The ground rescue team took 2 days to find them. Since then, the Soviet Union specially made a gun for astronauts. This gun was a 3-in-1 weapon, consists of 3 gun barrels and 1 iron shovel and a machete. It can knock down a fierce beast within 200 meters. It can also fire flares for help, but this gun was discontinued in 2007 due to ammunition expiration, ceased to be used. Since then, astronauts no longer carry weapons into space. However, this does not mean that no one wants to invent a real space gun, because in the face of unfriendly alien creatures, it might come in handy. Even if there are no alien creatures, it can still provide enough security for astronauts. Compared to firearms, microwave and ultrasonic weapons are more suitable for use in the absolute zero of space. At least, there is no need to worry about gravity, causing bullet deviations. At the same time, the firing energy is invisible at certain frequencies, and it can hit targets hundreds of kilometers away. However, for current human technology, these can only be achieved in movies. The most important thing right now is how to accomplish manned landing on farther planets. If you become an astronaut, what would you choose to bring with you into space?